Alright, so the first thing that we're going to see is we're going to see this start page. Okay, so we want to create a new project, and projects are how Visual Studio organizes programs. Okay, so a project will create a folder. It'll have files in it that are specific to that project, including your source code file, and once you finish compiling your program, the executable program file as well. Okay, so we can select the new project, or we can go to the file menu here and select new project from here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just select it from here. Select new project, and the new project window opens. Right, so make sure that you select Visual C++. Okay, and when you do that, don't select like SQL Server or C Sharp. Okay, these aren't the options we want. We want Visual C++. We're running a C++ program. So once you do that, we have 4 options, and the one we want is empty project. Okay, empty project will just create the very bare necessities of what we need to write our C++ program. If we select any of these other options, then Visual Studio creates a bunch of files that we don't need and that contain Windows specific source code. And we're writing standard C++. We're going to write a program that will hopefully compile on any system, be it a Windows system, a Mac system, or a Unix system. Okay, so empty project is the one that we want. So once we've selected empty project, we have to give our project a name, and in this case, for this demo, I'll just name it test project demo. Okay, so now I have a name. That's going to create a folder, and a folder with that same name, and inside that folder is going to contain the source code file and everything that I need for my program. Okay, so now I need to select a location, and a location is just where this folder is going to be created, where it's going to live. By default, I think it stuffs it into a subfolder in my documents. That could be a little bit annoying to hunt down. Okay, so here's the default. So what I like to do is I like to just click this browse button and set it on my desktop. Okay, that'll create this window, and then I can select desktop from this side here. Once I've done that, I click select folder, and I'm good to go. Okay, if either of these boxes are checked, make sure they're unchecked. We don't want either of those when we create our project. Okay, so once we're done, we're ready to go, everything looks good, we just click OK. Okay, then it'll take a second and we'll create our brand new project. Okay, so we'll be able to see, let me close this, get this out of the way. We'll be able to see, okay, here is our folder, okay, and everything that we need is going to be inside here. If I double click and open this, you'll see a bunch of files. These are all configuration files for the project. None of these are what we're going to submit for homeworks, okay? But I just wanted to show you that where the folder gets created. Okay, and then once we're done writing a program, I'll show you how to grab this the source code file, and I'll show you what the executable looks like. Okay, but for now, let's go back to Visual Studio, and we've created this project folder called Test Project Demo. Right, this is kind of the subdirectory of the folder where that we've created. Okay, and so there's no source code file in here yet. We need to add something. Source code files are where we add all of our statements for our program. So what we want to do is we want to select the source files folder here, and then we need to add a new item. Okay, we're going to add a source code file, a .cpp file. Okay, so click that, and we have some choices. Okay, make sure we're selected on Visual C++, and we want the C++ file, not a header file, but this file, the top one. Okay, double click that, and by default it opens up a file named source.cpp. Okay, and our text file is created. Right. But by default, or by convention, the first source code file, which contains your main function where all C++ programs start, is usually named main.cpp. Okay, so I'm going to change that name here just by selecting rename. Now it's going to be main.cpp. Alright, so now we're good to go. Okay. Alright, so now I'm just going to write the first program that most new computer science students write, just to check to make sure everything works and show you a first program and how it runs. Okay, so main.cpp is going to contain our main function. Okay, here we go. And the main function is the function that all C++ programs start in, right? So you can't have a program without it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just print a string to the monitor, to the display. But in order to do that, I need access to what's known as a cout object. To get access to it, I have to do this, use this preprocessor directive #include. Okay. An IOStream contains the library, or is the library that contains the cout object. And I need this using namespace line here. Don't worry about that for now. Just know that for all of your C++ programs, we have to have this line. Okay. All right, so I will write my hello world statement. Okay. In C++, all statements end with a semicolon. Okay. And I have to have this return statement, which I'll explain later when we get to functions. Just know that you need to have it right now. And that's everything for my first program. Okay. I can hit Control S to save it, and I'm good to go. Alright, so when I want to compile and run this program, I have a couple options. I can go up here to Project, I can, build, and I can compile it, I can build the solution. Either one of those will work, but if I want to run it, compile it and run it, then I want to select this button right here. Okay, just click on Local Windows Debugger, and what's going to happen is that the program's going to compile and it's going to run, and a window is going to flash open for a brief moment. Okay, and the reason for that is that Windows will compile the program, run it, pop up in a window to show you the program running, but as soon as it's finished executing, then Windows closes that window. Right, just the way that Windows works. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I click on that. Like it's an output, the window appears and it closes. All right. So for me to keep that window open, I need to have some kind of a pause. Okay, and so the pause I'm going to use this statement called cout.get. Oops. Okay. And what this statement does is this statement just causes the program to wait for the user to hit enter. Okay, and that'll keep our window open so we can actually read what's going on. Okay, so now I run it. Hello world, everything's great. I hit enter, it closes. Now a lot of students, somewhere they pick up the system pause call. This will pause the program also, but there's a problem with it. Okay, if I run it, it compiles, it works. Okay, the problem is that this is a Windows specific system call, meaning that this command is not standard C++. It only works on Windows systems. Okay, if you try to compile this source code on a Mac or a Unix machine, it's not going to compile. You're going to get a compile time error. So don't use this. Okay, as a matter of fact, if you try to use this, I'm going to mark you down for it because it's not C++. Alright, so let's get rid of that and we can fix it. And we'll compile again just to make sure everything's fine. And it is. Okay. Now when you submit assignments, I want to have some header information here inside comments. These two // here signify that everything that I type after it is going to be a comment. Comments are ignored by the compiler. They're just for the programmer's benefit. Okay. So what you would want to do is, or what I need you to do is to put your name. I need you to put your course number. And usually, it'll be like chapter 1 assignment. You'll write here just what it is. Okay, what the program is. Okay, so in this case, it's just a programming or writing a program demo, Visual Studio demo. Okay, so now I have everything good to go. My program's done. I'm ready to submit this thing. Well, how do I grab the file? What do I need to submit? All right, so what we want, or what I need you to submit through Blackboard, is the CPP file, the C++ source code file. So remember, we can go back to our desktop now that we stored the project on the desktop. We can go back into it and open it up. Okay, and so what we're going to see is we're going to see this file named main right here, and it's a CPP file. Right, this is the file that we need. This file contains all the statements that we just wrote. Okay, this is main.cpp. See, that's main.cpp. It's the source code files, and that's the one. Okay, so if we double click and open it, Notepad will show you all the statements that we wrote. So grab this file and upload that via Blackboard, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so when we compile a program, where does it go? I mean, what actually happens? Well, we change this main.cpp source code file into an executable program, and that executable program is compiled and stored into this debug folder. Okay, and this is it right here. Okay, so if you double click this, you can actually double click that and run it. See, there's the hello world program. Okay, I could actually copy this to my desktop, copy, paste, and there's another copy of it, and I can run it from here. Right? That's the program. That's what we're doing when we write a program. We're creating this file that actually does something. It's an executable file.